Well, no, it was good to have cricket back. I mean, it had been a while. Um, in the end, it was probably the result in the end was probably expected, but I was actually impressed with the West Indies. Not so much in the third test, but
Yeah.
especially.
And if I'm honest, I do think we'll win the Manchester Test.
All right. And then what about the whole series?
Well, well,
What's your score?
well, it wouldn't be Pakistan if we didn't lose one game.
But yeah, I'll go big boy though. What about you?
Yeah, I think they'll all get absolutely torn apart. But
Yeah, I think they'll be lucky. How many wickets are we predicting for the Ireland team in 3 matches? I reckon they'll be
5.
lucky to get double figures.
Yeah, I'm going 5.
Yeah,
Like one
but no,
one for
probably being a bit
400,
stiff.
1 for 432.
It's a miracle! Oh yeah! What about that one? Unbelievable! Balotelli, Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle. Oh, the ball is close. He's given him. He's given him. Peter Siddle's got a hat-trick on his birthday.
Welcome back to the On the Ball podcast. This is episode 43. That was probably the wrong way around on camera, but yeah, welcome back. If you're watching on YouTube, you've obviously seen his head by now. If you're listening, you would have no idea, but we've got Pistol Peter Adams from the Port Adelaide Football Club. Jokes. We've got Pilch pretending to be Peter Pistol. And we're going to be discussing cricket today. All things cricket, all things English cricket. It's going to be quite a jam-packed episode, I think. Might end up being a little bit longer than the usual, but we're going to be reviewing the England-West Indies series, and then we're going to be previewing the Pakistan-England Test series and the England-Ireland one-day series, which will be starting out the night that this comes out. So looking forward to that one. And yeah, there's not really any other way we could have spaced it out. Obviously, I would have liked to have done it one episode on the one days, one episode on the test, but because there's only like a week or less than a week in between the start of those two series, it wasn't really feasible to have that many cricket episodes in such a short time. But anyway, I didn't really give you the chance to speak. Welcome, Pilch. How are you, big fella?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bad. My sleep schedule is absolutely cooked at the moment, which is a bit of a downer. But apart from that, everything's going well. I've got a neck warmer on. If you can, well, it doesn't matter if you can see or not. I've just said it, which I have to say is an underrated fashion piece. Like not in terms of looks, but in terms of comfortability. Because a jacket and trackies, they warm your whole body up, and then it just leaves your neck hanging. So a cheeky neck warmer that I use for skiing does the job.
And definitely looks as well.
Well, the only thing is it kind of hides the jawline, but I don't know, because kind of just makes like you just end up having no neck. But anyway, it's great comfortability, so I recommend it to anyone listening. So without further ado, should we start with our votes? I reckon we start with our votes and then go into why we've given them the votes. So once again, we did our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for this third test. If you haven't realised already, England won the third test pretty comprehensively. It did go to the last day, but it was pretty clear cut the whole way. It was just rain made it a bit of a squeaky bum time sort of gig for the English boys, but no, that was pretty comfortable in the end, wasn't it? And then that got them the series win. Obviously, they needed to win that one to get the Wisden Trophy or the newly named Richards Botham Trophy, and they successfully did that. So in terms of the votes, once again, pretty similar stuff. 5 votes, Stuart Broad. What a test match. He took 10 wickets and he made 62 in the first innings. So probably one of the more dominant test matches I've seen. Well, to be honest, Ben Stokes was pretty bloody dominant in those first couple, but this was next level. So Brody took 6 for in the first innings, and then he took 4 for in the second. And by no means were they junk time poles. Yes, he actually didn't get a bowler out in the second innings despite getting the last wicket. He got Blackwood. Oh, he got Roach as a night watchman, but he's no rookie with the bat. He's actually got quite a good technique. And then he got the openers out. And then the first innings, he once again got Brathwaite out. He got Chase. He got Holder, Dowrich, and then he did kind of clean up the tail with Cornwall and Roach, but take nothing away from him there. And then with the shtick, he used to be a very good batsman, didn't he? And then he's kind of fallen away recently. I know you always talk about, I think once he broke his foot or something.
No, he was hitting the head.
Oh, okay. But was it by Mitchell Johnson or something?
Can't remember who it was, but yeah, someone who's bowling express hit him in the head.
And you reckon ever since then he's not really been the same with the bat. But I can't lie, I didn't watch this innings, but he might have just hacked, but he made 62 or 45, which you'll take any day of the week. Really helped England out, who were in a little bit of a pickle. They were sitting at 3 for 90, 4 for 120, but ended up making 370 in that first inning. So deservedly so, got the unanimous 5 votes from us. Number 4, we differed. I had Ollie Pope for that reason that I mentioned. They were in a bit of a hole, 4 for 120. He came out, made a match-winning 91. Bit similar to my reasoning with Holder in that first test. Although, as your 4 votes went to Rory Burns, who did make more runs in the test match, I just feel as though this 91 really set up the match for England. His partnership with Joss Buttler was worth, I think, 140. Yeah, 140 on the dot. And that, it was a real match saver. He was out of form. His position wasn't up for grabs or anything, but he needed some runs for his own confidence, and he came out and unfortunately fell short of the ton. But 91 deserved of applause, really. So I gave him the 4 votes. You went with Rory Burns. Why'd you go with him?
Yeah, well, after Broad, obviously, it was pretty tough splitting the next 3 or so blokes. They were all in with a sniff. But, yeah, Burns probably didn't look as good at the crease as Pope did. But in the end, he made a 60 and then he made a 90. So that 90 just got him over the line, just based on the accumulation of runs, pretty much.
Yeah, 100% agree. I gave him 2 votes. You gave Pope 2 votes, so we've done the old reversal there. I completely understand why you gave it to him. For me, if it was the other way around, so the 90 was in the first innings, 100% would have given him 4 votes. But just the fact that the 90 kind of came in a junk time situation when the lead was already like 200. But in the first innings, he made 57 and kind of helped. Although Pope and Butler had to do the hard yards, he did set it up a little bit. Otherwise, Pope and Butler would have been coming out at like 4 for 50 or something. But yeah, I understand your reasoning there. I think he scored the most runs in the match combined across the 2 innings, so fair enough. Then number 3, we differ. I gave it to Joss Butler. You gave it to Chris Wokes. I gave Wokes 1 vote, probably one of like the better performances you can get for 1 vote. How come you gave Wokes the 3?
Well, it was just it's the old like toss up between batting and bowling, but I just thought his 5 for was pretty unreal. 5 for 50 in the second innings, and he, when the rain was looking like it might take the win away from us, he stepped up, got the job done, skittled them. So yeah, gave him a 3.
Yeah,
as I said, it was tough to split him and the other batsmen that were chipping in with like 60s and things.
Yeah, and he got Hope and Brooks, who were looking to mount a bit of a partnership. They were both in their 20s and 30s, so 2 big wickets there. He did kind of clean up. Well, the thing is, West Indies didn't really have a tail in this test, but did get out Holder, Dowrich, Cornwall further down the order, but 5 for in the second innings. Well deserved. Yeah, once similar to Rory Burns. For me, it was just the fact that it was in the second innings. I valued it a bit less than Butler's important 70. And I have to admit, I've been highly critical of Butler. Not a fan of him in the test side. Still am pretty dubious about it. I don't think his spot should be a guarantee for the rest of the summer, but that 70 has definitely bought him some time. And realistically, he'll probably see out the summer now, which I don't think he deserves to. But, a Joss Butler 50 is a guaranteed extra year in the side, according to the England selectors. But it can't be taken away from him. It was a crucial 60. England could have been looking like if Butler went out quick here and then they got into the tail a bit faster, who knows? England could have got bowled out for 200. But he hung around, let Pope get the runs, and he also made a few himself. So really saved and set up simultaneously the test for England. As I said, we've already mentioned the people who got 2 votes, and I gave Wokes 1. You gave Root 1, which I think is quite surprising.
Yeah, well, that could be partly due to a bit of bias. I'm a fan of him, but in that second innings, it was the classical Root one-day mode, just picking gaps. And he did also take, I believe, 3, maybe 4 catches in the slips. But I will say that Butler was pretty unlucky on this one. The fact that Root was not out as well, I guess, is also a factor. But
yeah, no, I don't want to bum you. Like, it's a fair suggestion. He was probably 6th if I had to pick one for me. Yeah, he took 3 catches at slip. Butler took 6 though, so jokes. He's obviously with the glove, so it's a bit of a different story. For me, the reason I just didn't go Root once again, the junk time kind of consideration, but now fair enough. He did look very good. There was a point there where England were looking a bit stagnant, and it was kind of like, what is the point of this little cameo? And then he really came out. He accelerated himself and also got Burns going by rotating the strike. So at this point, they basically already guaranteed the win or the draw, but he really put the final nail in the coffin and then let Broad and Wokes bowl them to victory. So that's our 5 votes. That took us to our leaderboard. So obviously this system, I have to admit, it's a bit flawed in a 3-match series because you can basically just have one good test and all of a sudden you're up there. So this will work better in terms of like who's the 2020 player of the year and stuff like that, or just like who's the English cricketer of the year. But it still works for this. So the official winners were Chase and Broad, so they gave 1 to each team. I think they normally do that. I don't think it was like a tie or anything. And for me, that my opinion was validated. So Chase and Broad actually finished on 6 votes for me. Chase picked up the bulk of his in that second test where he took 5 for and made 50. And then Broad obviously picked up the 5 for his third test performance. Holder and Stokes battled it out for third position. They were tied on 5 votes. And for you, I have to say, probably fittingly, if I did have to pick one player who's the best in the series, I still probably would have gone Stokes. But I don't know, it's tough to deny Broad of that. You had Stokes on 7 votes, Broad on 6 votes, Shannon Gabriel on 5 votes. So pretty handy podiums from both of us. I rate our selections there. I think Broad, Chase, and Stokes were definitely the top 3 players. Well, yeah. Chase was definitely the top West Indian, and Broad and Stokes were definitely the top 2. What did you think of the series as a whole? Were you impressed, or did you think the standard was pretty poor?
Well, no, it was good to have cricket back. I mean, it had been a while. In the end, it was probably the result in the end was probably expected, but I was actually impressed with the West Indies. Not so much in the third test, but especially the first and even the second test. I mean, we were expecting a whitewash, and I thought their middle order actually stepped up, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think the main differences between the teams in the end was, I don't think there was a West Indian 100. Yeah, no, there wasn't. So a lot of them, and like unlike the English players who a lot of them made 70s and 80s, I don't think, apart from Blackwood in that first test, I think most of the 50s were 50s and 60s. So I think that was one of the main differences, that the West Indies players couldn't go on. You're looking at Shamar Brooks, Craig Brathwaite, even Roston Chase. All of them made 50s, and I don't think they cracked 70. So, well, apart from Blackwood, Brathwaite made 75, Brooks made 68. So I think if they would have turned those into some big hundreds, especially Brathwaite at the top of the order, I think they could have set up a few tests. In terms of the West Indies bowling, I think it's about as we expected. I think they would have been very disappointed in their inability to break that opening partnership early. I think Rory Burns batted for at least an hour in every single one of his innings. Which is something you would have not associated with the West Indies, you thought their opening bowling pair with the new ball would have probably been their strength. So that's probably an area of concern for them. I think Roston Chase bowled really well. We were kind of joking coming into it, saying like he's just a part-time spinner and stuff, but in the end, he took 10 wickets in 94 overs. So like nothing special. Strike rate of 56, average of 34. So for someone who's primarily a batsman, he did pretty well. And in that last test, they picked Rakeem Cornwall, and he still looked like the superior spinner out of the two, which was quite interesting to note. However, I do think Cornwall was quite unlucky. I think he bowled pretty well for no wickets. But yeah, I think England managed this perfectly. I think the bowling rotation worked beautifully. Not a single English bowler bowled more than 70 overs, whereas Kemar Roach bowled 120, Jason Holder bowled 110, Gabriel bowled 100. So that rotation policy worked really well, I think. And the West Indies don't have any cricket now, I don't think. I'm not too sure what's coming up for them next, but England, who have another 3-test series against Pakistan, I think that was really important for them to not, be fully knackered going into that Pakistan series, because Pakistan are probably a better team on paper anyway. But yeah, no, really competitive series, which we didn't predict. Each test, albeit a couple times it was mainly due to rain, all tests went to the 5th day. I think 2 tests went down to the final session, so that's pretty rare nowadays in Test cricket. I'm used to the Australian Test being all over Red Rover by like the 3rd session on day 1, when Australia's like none for 220. But nah, really good, tight, contested series. In the end, England deserved the win, and they just kind of flexed their muscles in those last 2 tests, and showed how good they can be on their day. But I think they're lucky, though. I think if England maybe played a better team, I know it's the same situation for both sides, but I think if England played a better quality team, I think they could have been caught out in those first 2 tests, because they weren't playing their best brand of cricket. So
yeah,
I think they may be lucky that they had not a warm-up test series or anything, but I think they're lucky that they played the West Indies first as opposed to Pakistan, because I think if Pakistan came out firing in those first 2 tests, I'm not sure if England could have held them off. But nah.
That's a good call.
And I liked that they got quite a few players involved. Obviously, you don't want to be chopping and changing all the time, but I think they used like 15 or 16 players. So good to get everyone involved in the squad. And yeah, reacting to our predictions, actually, I just listened to it before we came on air. We both had Stokes for the most English runs, which was correct. He was the top English run scorer by 130, and he was top run scorer in the whole series by 130. So he averaged 90.75 in the series. 1 ton, 150. Just showed he is one of the best players in the world, one of the best batsmen in the world. He showed that he can bat fast, bat slow, did everything. But it has to be said, the openers did quite well. Do you think?
Yeah.
Were you impressed with Burns and Sibley?
Yeah, well, after the second test, I think we made the comment that Burns needed to lift, and he certainly did in the 3rd test. So, yeah, definitely overall. And even Crawley, I know he didn't open, but I'll put him in that category as well. He played that good 90, so that was good to see as well.
Yeah. Something that Burns and Sibley probably deep down aren't too happy about is like Sibley scored a big 100, but Burns and then Burns scored his 90 in that second innings, but they both still struggled to convert their starts. As I said, Burns in all 5 innings batted for more than an hour, and he only came away with 1 score bigger than 60. So I think that's something personally he would like to work on. But with such a good middle order with Root, Stokes and Pope, I think the England team would be happy if they went out and, batted for 3 or 4 hours and made 60. Although I'm sure themselves they would be rather tunning up instead of like the people in the middle order. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good test series for England. Obviously, they probably would have liked to win a bit easier, but not much went wrong for them. Reacting to our other predictions, I predicted Broad for most wickets. You predicted Archer, so Broad had 5 more wickets than Wokes. So Broad had 16. Archer only had 4. So
Yeah, look,
Unlucky there. Unlucky
I'm,
there.
I'm finally realizing that Archer isn't what we all thought he was after that Ashes
he's not.
series.
Yeah. And then I have to admit our West Indies predictions were pretty uneducated, but we did go Hope for most runs. I think he was sitting at 7th for the West Indies. So, pretty bad from us. We got drawn into that technique, and most wickets we went Kemar Roach, who was the 4th top wicket taker for the West Indies, but he was only 3 wickets off the top. So not the worst call from us.
And wasn't he on? He was on 0 or 1 or something after the first test.
Yeah,
So he made a late push.
I don't think he took one.
Yeah.
In the first test. So, and then Gabriel, had his 9 for in that first test. Holder had his 6 for in the first innings. Chase had a 5 for. So Roach was really only just one big haul away from being up there with them. So that's pretty much it for that test series. It was really, really good to watch. Also, side note, loved the commentary. I don't think there's a better 2 cricket countries in terms of commentary. Not interested to see who Pakistan have. I'm not sure if I assume they'll have like Ramiz Raja. He's usually the commentator for them. But yeah, Michael Holding, Bishop, and then obviously the England commentators, Nasser, Bumble up in Manchester. They're just legends of the game. So that was awesome to listen to. Something I'm probably going to miss in the upcoming test series. In terms of the World Test Championship, this did count towards that. England sitting, I don't actually know where they were seated coming into it, but England now sitting 3rd behind India and Australia. They're not too far away from Australia actually, so I think if they do a whitewash of this next series, I think they overtake Australia and would sit in 2nd. And West Indies got themselves off the bottom of the table, but sitting 7th above South Africa and Bangladesh and below the other 6 sides. So that's pretty much it. So now we're going to talk about the England-Pakistan series. We've got a Pakistani fan, Mustafa, who's appeared on an NFL episode before. He's waiting in the wings, but we're going to quickly talk about England first because he is a Pakistan expert, so we'll save him for the English chat. But in terms of this Pakistan series, what would you like to see from England? Are you happy with this team that went into that 3rd test, or do you want to see any changes?
Well, to be honest, even though it worked really well, I don't think we'll be going in with that many bowlers because we played the extra bowler because Stokes wasn't fit to bowl. And I don't think you can go in with 6 bowlers into a test match. I'd probably rather a batsman come back in. For me, that would be Zach Crawley. Give him another shot. But other than that, I wouldn't really change anything.
Well, which bowler would you drop, mate? I've seen you just wriggle yourself out of that one.
Well, actually,
said out of batsman, but you're not. I'm going to drop Wokes, but as a resting thing, not as So I would drop him because the thing is, if you rest Anderson and Archer, they rested the 2nd test. So I'd rest Wokes, play Anderson in Manchester because it's his stadium or whatever, and then I'd maybe rest him for the 2nd test. And then maybe rest Broad for the 3rd test. But I'm sure the bowlers hate this rotation shit, but I think it's a good idea, especially the first couple series back from a 4-month break. So yeah, I would rest Wokes, but we'll see what they do. I don't think you can go in with 4 pace bowlers and Best. Best didn't bowl a single over.
Yeah, I did think about that this morning, but I guess if you don't need them, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't say drop him though, because as we saw with Chase and Cornwall, it actually can spin quite a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go with them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout, but I now no longer think Archer is in the best 3. So I mean, Wokesy's really put his foot forward with that last performance. But yeah, so I don't think Archer will play all 3 of them. Maybe
they drop Archer and bring back Curran or Wood.
Yeah, potentially.
Could be a double change. So yeah, interested to see what they do. Obviously the squad's on out. It doesn't start for another 6 days or something, but first test is in Manchester, then the next 2 is in Southampton. So be interesting to see what they do. But I 100% agree. I think you got to get Zach Crawley back in there. as that you saw in the first innings. If it wasn't for that Pope and Butler partnership, they could have been in a bit of a pit being bowled out for 200 or something.
Yep.
So I think you definitely have to have 6 batsmen and the keeper. Yeah, that's just what I think anyway. So yeah, anything else you want to touch on about England before we get into it?
Not really. I do think that, as you touched on before, Pakistan should be a little bit more of a challenge in terms of the opposition. So we'll have to play as we did in the second and third tests to get up, but it should be a good series again.
Yeah, actually, I think it could be a really good series. Obviously, we'll talk about it when Mustafa comes on, but I do think England have a huge advantage coming in with 3 tests under the belt.
Yeah,
as I said before, I think if they were both coming in fresh off lockdown, I think it might be a different story, but I think it's going to be a big ask for Pakistan in their first test back, but they're a quality team and they've been in quite good form apart from that Australian series, but that's, you can't really count series in Australia. It's not really cricket, is it? So yeah, predictions. Obviously, this is just really stabbing in the dark. For most runs, who are you backing in? I'm going to back in, while you maybe stew on it, I'm going to back in Root. Out of that top 5, well, top 6, he's probably the one that's due. And I think he looked really positive in that third test. If it wasn't that first innings, he ran himself out, which, that's just like an anomaly kind of thing. And then the second innings, he was not out on 60 or whatever. So he looked really positive. And hopefully if Crawley comes in at 3, he moves down to 4. He might have an easier go of it. So, yeah.
I'm going to go with Stokes, which is choosing with my heart over my head, but it's probably both,
the most informed batsman in the team, so it makes sense. But yeah, it could literally be anyone. All 5 of the batsmen who were in the top 5 in that last test are in really good form. So I think Sibley and Burns might be in for a bit more of a challenge. I think Gabriel, although he was good in some spells, I think for the majority of it, he was quite average. Like, he sprayed it a lot.
Yeah.
And then Roach doesn't really have the pace to challenge guys like that. But yeah, I think Naseem Shah and Shaheen Shah Afridi, even Mohamed Abbas with his hooping nut could be a bit of another challenge. In terms of wickets, look, it's really just a guess. Hard to go past the man in form. I'll back him Brody. Although he might get rested for a test in there, I think they all might. So yeah, I'll back him Broad. Can't really see Best stepping up and taking wickets, and then Archer and Anderson right now don't look like they're going to take more than Broad. Maybe works, I don't know. But yeah, I'll back him Broady once again.
Yeah, for wickets, I'm gonna say, assuming they all play the same amount of tests, I'm gonna go with Anderson for most wickets. But there's obviously he will probably get a lot less overs and maybe not even play. He might only even play 1. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit him out for the Southampton leg.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get the big fella on now. So next time you hear us, we'll be joined by a third member. All right, we're now joined by Musi to chat about the Pakistan side of this test series. Welcome, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me, mate.
My pleasure. All right, so what we've both done, we've both picked our Pakistan 11, so who we think should play or who we think's gonna play, based off the test squad. There's been a few practice games,
yeah,
so that kind of helped the decision making as well. But should we just start with the opening batsman? I've gone with Shan Masood and Abid Ali. I can't lie, I don't really know who Abid Ali is. I think he's only played 3 or 4 test matches.
He's performed well in those test matches. It was against Sri Lanka and Bangladesh as well.
Yeah, so, I think he turned up.
Yeah,
I think he might have turned up twice actually. In there.
But it was in Pakistan, so it wasn't like playing in UAE or playing overseas in Colombo or Bangladesh. So I'm he still has to prove, I guess, in England he's good.
Yeah. So yeah, Shah Masood I think is a guarantee. He's been really good ever since he debuted 2 or 3 years ago, or whenever that was. And then his opening spot's kind of up for grabs. The other opener who stands out is Imam ul Haq. He's been all right in the practice games. I think he scored a couple 40s, but his Test career has not been great. However, you've gone with a bit of a left field choice.
I've gone
you've
with the conservative choice.
Big Azhar Ali, the captain.
No,
I've got him down at number 3. He's batted at number 3 in the PAK games, so I thought he was locked in at number 3. But how come you think he's going to open the batting?
Well, when he was in Australia, they were here. He was opening with Shan Masood, and like they opened like in the first game pretty well. I think it was a 74 partnership, which I'm like, it's pretty good. Like traditionally, he's been an opener as well. Like I think he just brings a lot of experience to the table, and like we need him at like let's go number 1. I'd have Babar Azam at number 3.
Why would you change Bubba from number 4 when he's been like one of the world's best batsmen there, man?
It's just my philosophy. I think he'd be better at number 3, and then at number 4 you could have Asad Shafiq.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have this similar, batting like bunch of players. Yeah, I've got similar, as you said, the 2-3-4, but I've got them down at 3-4-5. So I've got Azhar Ali, who's the skipper. I've got him at number 3, and I've got Babar Azam, who's the vice captain, in at number 4, and I've got Asad Shafiq, who's in at number 5.
Who's your wicket keeper?
I went with Mohammad Rizwan.
Ooh, yeah,
I know you've gone with Sarfaraz, but
I've gone with both of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I said that have Sarfaraz as keeper, have Rizwan as the batsman. I think he's good enough to be a batsman in the team.
Well, I think he scored a century in one of the practice games.
He was good.
Yeah, he scored a century in the first one, and he also scored a 50 not out in the first innings of that match. And his 100 was not out, so
he was good in Australia as well.
Was he?
Yeah,
I can't lie. I was away for that Test series, so I don't really remember it.
But. He made 92, I think, at the I don't know where it was. He made 92 somewhere in Australia, in the game, proper game. So like he's a well-established batsman.
Yeah, I've got Mohammad Rizwan batting at number 6. But you want to see Sarfaraz in there? Why do you want to see him back in the side?
Sarfaraz he's a legend. I mean, you can't keep Sarfaraz out of the team. I mean, he does win us games. He's a gun keeper. He's a better keeper than anyone, I think, right now.
I don't know how they keep, I'll be honest. But
I think he brings a lot more wealth and experience. Kamran Akmal, like, he's better than Kamran Akmal, all the Akmal brothers and stuff. Like, he brings in a lot more wealth of experience, and I just genuinely think he's better. Even with the bat, he's better. Sorry about that. Yeah.
It's pretty stiff palm off, mate. Face.
No, I'm sorry about that. No. So what I was saying was that yeah, sorry about that. So what I was saying is that yeah, so like I said, Sarfaraz in the World Cup gave us hope as well. Did you see him play against New Zealand? The one where Baba made 100.
Yeah, but that's one day, isn't it?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean,
always do this. You always take into account their T20 performance and stuff. I was like, it's just cricket, man.
I think if I'm honest, he's probably the best. He's the most experienced keeper right now in Pakistan.
Yeah,
and you have to, on that basis, you have to pick him. And it's not just that. You have to see his previous performances where he has played well. And let's not forget, 2016 when we were there, who was the captain? Oh no, that was Misbah. But 2018. No, 2018, we had a draw. It was 2-2 the Test series. Sarfaraz was captain in that.
Yeah, but we had the main man Muhammad Amir. So
everyone thought he was coming back to the Test circuit. Like everyone on the news channel, I'm like, he's not coming back. He retired from Test. He's coming back for the T20s. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's a bit misleading.
Exactly. Same with Waqar Yunus, the bowling coach, saying, we'll take him into account. I'm like...
By the way, you look like you're wearing a World Series Cricket Pakistan top right now. But it's just...
It's
like the exact same colour. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I've got Mohammad Rizwan at number 6, probably the most informed batsman in the team in terms of those practice matches.
But what about, as a batsman? Would you not take him as a batsman? As just a batsman?
Well, I probably would, but I want Shadab Khan in the side at number 7. Shadab Khan, he played in the last Test series in England.
Yes.
They didn't pick Yasir Shah. I'm not quite sure why.
But he made a 50. He made a 50.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about him. I think he's actually a better batsman than Sarfaraz. And
Is that because of the PSL?
no, he's showing it. And he just adds, he's just one of those players who can do a bit of everything. He's a really good bowler. He's really young, isn't he? Isn't he 21?
Yeah, 21, 20, something like that. I mean, Pakistan, you can't trust their ages.
So I think he's the option moving forward. Yasir Shah's getting a bit older now, isn't he? Isn't he like 33 or something?
Yeah.
Um,
Also gaining a bit of the weight. You
yeah.
can see. He
He-
made
He's
100.
slowly not taking as many wickets, but
Oh, yeah,
I think
he's a batsman as well.
yeah, well, DRS on that. But,
Oh,
yeah, so I have Shadab Khan at number 7. Playing, I'm kind of picking him as a batsman, but it's just a bonus that he can bowl as well. I think it's
you reckon he's a
important.
better bowler?
I probably do think that, but I think I can't lie. The rest of the squad's not that great at batting. You've got Fawad Alam and Fahim Ashraf,
No,
who I looked at their stats,
Fahim
and
Ashraf.
they're not great.
People give him that much crap. Like, they say he's the Pakistani Ben Stokes.
Yeah. So I think in a team, you've always got to have 6 batsmen and then the keeper. But because Mohammad Rizwan's a really good batsman, I've moved him up to 6 and put Shadab down to 7. I don't think he'll actually bowl too much with Yasir Shah in there, but he's also very handy with the ball, big turner of it.
Yeah.
Probably one thing against him is he's a leg spinner like Yasir Shah. So it's a big call taking 2 spinners into a team, let alone 2 that spin the ball the same way. But I really like both of them. Yeah. So moving on to Yasir Shah, I think you got to have him. Just a legend of Test cricket at this point. What is he, like the fastest cricketer to 100 wickets or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So he's not had great success in England. He played 4 tests there, bowled at an average of 40. But as we know, he bowls a lot of overs. So
He's consistent in that he's able to, if he's not getting wickets, he's able to, like, I guess, not let the bowler score runs and add pressure.
Yeah. And he can often, let the pace bowlers take the wickets. So yeah, I think you've got to have Yasir Shah in there. So wait, who do you have? So you've got Rizwan at 6 or 5?
No, I've got Rizwan at 5, Sarfaraz at 6.
6. Who's at 7?
Shadab.
Oh, okay.
And at 8, I have Yasir.
Okay. Oh, so we're basically the same team. It's just I've got Abid Ali opening, and then everyone's moved down.
But I think you've got, have you got 4 paces?
I only have 3 pace bowlers, so I've got Shadab and Yasir as my 2 spinners. I'm not saying you need 2 spinners, but so Shadab's kind of in there as a batsman, but it's just a bonus that he can bowl as well. And then the 3-pronged pace attack, I think this is 100% what they'll pick. I'm not sure if it's what they should pick, but Shaheen Shah Afridi, Muhammad Abbas, Naseem Shah.
I have that as well.
I think they're 100% going to pick that.
Wahab's not getting picked for the first test.
Muhammad Abbas has played 2 matches, 2 tests in England since 2015, bowled an average of 14.2.
And the thing is, people give him crap that he's not bowling fast like traditional Pakistani bowlers.
You don't need that.
You don't need that. He's just consistent with the ball. He bowls the line and length, and people are like, "Oh, I can't play it."
You need that in I have to admit, you do need that in some places, but England's certainly not one of them.
Exactly.
Like we saw him struggle in Australia because of that. But England, he's shown in the past he'll do bits. He's got an insane bowling record. His bowling average is like 21 or something.
But he's old.
So I think
he's getting older. He's getting older. I mean, that's not a secret. And then I was looking at this, like, I'm thinking, wow, Pakistan has this amazing amount of talent. Like, you got Muhammad Hussain, who's still waiting in the ranks. You've got, like, these other guys, these other kids that are, like, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, which I'm like, in the next 10 years, Pakistan's going to have a very good pace attack.
Yeah.
Because even Naseem and Shaheen, like, 2023 World Cup prospects, if you look at it, I'm being genuine. Look, Amir might not play.
Yeah.
And, like from that point of view, it probably won't. Exactly. And then I think Hassan Ali's career is finished.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, this new pace attack's going to be led by Shaheen.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely the 3-pronged pace attack they'll go with. It's pretty good, to be honest.
Do you reckon it's better than England's current attack?
No, I think it's really exciting. It's but I think it's pretty hard to put them above legends like Broad and Anderson.
What about West Indies? Do they have a better chance than West Indies?
I think they do. I was saying this to Christian before you came on. I think, unfortunately for Pakistan, they're at a huge disadvantage because England are coming off a 3-test series where Pakistan are coming in fresh, only off a few practice games. So I think that's a huge benefit for England. I think if they were both coming in fresh off lockdown, I would almost have Pakistan as favourites. But because England have had a 3-test series, I think they've got to be the favourites going into it. But I think Pakistan will give them a better test than West Indies.
Oh, for sure.
I think West Indies' bowling attack was good on paper, but although Gabriel and Holder took a few fifers and stuff like that, I don't think they bowled that well, if I'm honest.
You know, my favorite cricketer on that team was Raheem Cornwall. Like the catch he caught, mate, is legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows you.
Yeah. Well, DRS whether he should be playing, but when he can't field. But anyway, and also this Pakistan team by far has a better spin attack, which I think is really important, especially in Manchester. It was spinning quite a lot. Roston Chase was getting a lot of turn, so I think Yasir Shah and Shadab Khan could be dangerous in that first test. But yeah, I really like Shaheen, Mohammad Abbas, and Naseem.
And I think England's top order is quite fragile.
Yeah,
both the openers since
they weren't tested in that first series too. A lot of the times they got starts, but I think that's going to be a big thing. I think that's going to be the key to the series. Actually, I think if Pakistan can get them out early, I think England's going to be in a bit of trouble because although their middle order is pretty good, Joe Root's shown over his career when he comes out early in the innings he struggles. Then Pope and Stokes, obviously they're great cricketers, but they're probably cricketers who prefer to come in
a little later,
when the score's already like 200 plus.
Because even they know they can't do it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be times where they'll just stuff up really bad.
Yeah, and then Butler's shown he's pretty bad. I think Sohail Khan is very stiff. I do think he's going to miss out. He's been really good in England. He's taken 2-5. So in 2016, he played 2 matches, took 2 fifers in England. Bowling at an average of 25, and in the practice games he took 2 fifers. So,
but he's not good at the second innings.
But I don't think he can get picked over any of those 3.
No way. You know, Wahab Riaz is also on that 20-man squad that's up for consideration.
Yeah, I was looking at it. There's no way he'll get picked.
But if he still has the pace, apparently he's still bowled at 150.
He didn't even play in one of the practice games, and then the other one he was bowling like third change. I don't think he's a sniff. I think he's just there to maybe provide some
experience,
leadership, bowling it. But yeah, I think Sohail Khan statistically probably should be picked just because he's the informed man. But I don't think you can leave Shaheen, Abbas, or Naseem out. So
that was my thing. I'm like, you can't drop Abbas in UK. You would not drop him. He's just that good in the UK. And then I'm like, Shaheen is also very successful in the UK. The only guy
I think drop someone, I think it would be Naseem.
Yeah, Naseem, pretty much. But I'm like, Naseem showed in Australia that he's got pace. The way he was bowling, I'm like, if he bowls like that in the UK, it was something to watch, I guess.
Yeah, I think it will be a big test for Naseem. He's never really bowled in these conditions in the test team. He's played in the subcontinent and Australia, so it's a completely new game for him.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Obviously, he's not the biggest swinger of the ball. His main exponent is just pace,
raw pace.
But he could really challenge that top order of England. But yeah, unfortunately for Sohail Khan, I think he's going to be limited to running out the drinks, which is quite stiff given he's taken 2 fifers. And I was looking at who he got out. He wasn't cleaning up the tail. He was getting Bubba out. He was getting Azhar Ali out. He was getting Shafiq out.
But you got to reckon, do you think Baba was trying in that practice game? Or Azhar was trying?
Well, obviously they're probably not fighting for their wicket, but I'm sure they weren't like just hacking. Like I think they would have been trying.
You know, the first time I heard of Sohail Khan, 2015 World Cup, India versus Pakistan. I was at the game and I'm like, oh, who the hell is that? He's bowling, and he got Rohit Sharma. I remember early, and I'm like, god damn, we're in this. Then the next wicket fell at 200, so okay.
He's pretty fast, though, I think.
He's not. He bowls 135, 140. Okay. But Pakistan is they're like.
I think they'll 100% pick Naseem Shah.
Yeah, for sure. If they want to scare the batsmen and stuff, they'll pick Naseem.
Yeah, and I know you should focus on winning right now, but I do think the fact that Sohail Khan's 35, about to turn 36, kind of makes it even if he got picked, this would probably be one of his last series, so it's kind of almost like, what's the point?
I mean, he has to be realistic as well. Like, from his point of view, I don't even know why they picked him in the first place. like if he's not going to play and like he's not young talent. I mean, Pakistan's got this new initiative that we're going to promote young talent. Yet we've got Wahab Riaz and like someone like him, the 35-year-old fast bowlers, which we know like we're not Bangladesh, all right? We don't do that here. We've got guys that bowl. Yeah, we don't pick Mushraf Murtaza and like bowl 120s, and I think that's not our status. Like that's not something we do. We have guys.
Can't argue with his wickets. He took 2 5s.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Look, I respect that. But like he has a PSL contract. He'll make money off that. He plays T20. He'll play domestic, but he shouldn't be in the international circuit. Who from Australia is a 35-year-old that plays for Australia? Like Mitch Johnson was, I think, till 33, 34, and he was bowling like super fast. But like, I have to say, a little disappointed. Like I'd rather you have like they sent back the under-19 captain Rahel Nazir, the wicketkeeper.
I don't know who that is, if I'm honest.
Well, okay. They say he's going to be the next Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma as well. He's a gun bat. But yeah. So they sent him back for Muhammad Amir, and like people are now criticizing that Amir has been brought because a lot of people are saying that Amir is being favoritized by like PCB, and I kind of do believe that because Junaid Khan. You remember Junaid Khan?
Yeah, I remember the name. Wait, is that the fat guy?
No.
Who's the fat guy whose dad owns the team?
Moin Khan. Yeah, wait, his son's actually pretty good. Like the fatty was scoring runs.
Well, it's T20, so yeah. So who's Junaid Khan?
Junaid Khan is like a bowler. He's I think 28. He's 28, but he's a lot far. Like he has a lot more experience in the UK because he's played county there and all that stuff. But like look, where you talk about Wahab and stuff, like Wahab's gonna probably play T20s if I'm honest. But Sahel Khan is just your main test bowler, and like he shouldn't be there. I personally think he shouldn't be there.
Yeah. All right. So I want to get some predictions from you.
First, can I ask you a question? Yeah. What do you think of the coaching stuff?
I don't. Well, I know you send them to me. Like I can't say I haven't. Like I don't know if they're good coaches or not.
I think it's going to be
great players.
It's going to be.
It doesn't mean you're going to be a coach.
I think it's going to be a pretty elite team. Like in terms of coaching stuff.
Yeah.
Like who's coaching England right now? Well, no one knows.
Like Chris Silverwood or whatever his name is.
Well, everyone knows like Misbah was there in 2016 and won. Misbah Yunus, Waka Yunus.
Yeah, but
that's a gun.
You don't know if they're good coaches. It's like someone can be really good at maths, but they might not be able to teach maths.
What's the date today? Today is the 29th of July. I reckon, right, in the next 3 to 4 years, we'll become the number one test team with this. We've been the number one test team for like a month. Yeah. But I reckon with this coaching stuff, if it remains together and they put all their egos aside and they just focus to dedicating to Pakistan cricket, I reckon we can become number one in tests.
All right. I look forward to it. I think you're sitting in 6th right now in the championship.
No, we're 5th. We're 5th.
Of Sri Lanka, sorry. So it's a big series for them. I think if you win, you might be able to leapfrog England. But I think you'd have to maybe win all 3. Which might be. All right. So some predictions, Mus. What's your series prediction?
What?
I'm going.
Where's the first test?
Manchester, and the next 2 in Southampton.
Well, you also got to take into account that crowds are going to be allowed in back in these games.
No.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. I was reading it last night. They're saying they're going to open it.
500.
Yeah, it's going to be a limited amount of crowd is going to be allowed in because of social distancing.
Yeah, all right.
Which, and if you look at Manchester, it's a traditionally Pakistani city. I'm going to do the crowd thing first. Like, you can expect a lot of Pakistanis to come. And I think that will add a lot of pressure. I mean, UK is the second home of Pakistanis, if you ask anyone.
Okay.
And if I'm honest, I do think we'll win the Manchester test.
All right. And then what about the whole series?
What's your score? Well, it wouldn't be Pakistan if we didn't lose one game. I reckon we'll lose the second game. No way we're winning the second game. Like, they'll just be partying all night and shit. Like, no offense. I know these people. All right, they're not like the second test will just lose like really badly, and then until the media in Pakistan starts giving us shit, we'll then win the third series.
I'm predicting 2-0 to England. I think one of them will be a draw.
Wow.
Maybe by some rain. I purely think it's just because England are coming off a 3-test series. I think it's a really big advantage. I feel really bad for Pakistan. It's unfair, but
this is what I get. Like,
they were both coming in off lockdown. I'd almost go Pakistan 2-1, but I think that advantage of England being warmed up.
But you never know, you know. You never know.
Yeah, you never 100%. Like I thought West Indies were going to get smashed, and they won the first test, almost retained the trophy.
Yeah, but let's be honest, they only won because Stuart Broad wasn't playing. In a way, I was like, Jimmy Anderson wasn't as good as without. Like, if he's with Stuart Broad, they're a formidable pace attack.
Yeah, they are. In terms of top run scorer, who are you going with? Are you going with your beloved Bubba?
Yeah, I was reading actually a stat. If Bubba scores 300 runs in the series, he'll go to number 3 in the world in Test ranking.
You can't care about ICC rankings; they're so bad.
Yeah, but is that why the ODI ranking is all Asia? Like, bro,
like Shane Dowrich is above Jason Holder or something. It's like Shane Dowrich.
How is Marnus number 3 in Test?
He's good.
He's not better than Bubba. He's not better than Bubba.
That's a fair call. But
who has more followers?
Right, mate, who cares?
Who has more sponsorship deals? Who has more endorsement deals? Bubba.
Pakistani top run scorer. Who are you going with?
Azhar Ali and Babar Azam. Just based.
No, you've got to give me one, mate.
Babar Azam.
It's a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to go Azhar Ali, I think.
He made two. Do you remember the 200 he made against Australia at the MCG? I'll never forget that.
I think England really suits someone who plays the ball late with a really solid technique. Babar Azam, he's top 5 batsman in the world, but I think he might get caught out a few times, going for his shots. But I'm sure he'll.
The other thing wrong with Babar is he needs to be patient. Not every ball needs to go for 4. And I saw that in Australia.
I think he might have some issues against Broad with the swinging ball, but that's why I'm backing in Azhar Ali. But yeah, talented batsman, so it wouldn't surprise me if he does well.
Thoughts on Wait, can I say something? Thoughts on Sarfaraz making a double 100?
He's not playing, man. By the way, does Sarfaraz have an A before the R? I actually only learned that in the PSL, but anyway.
In the name?
Yeah. Top wicket taker. I'm going to go Shaheen Shah Afridi just because I think he'll bowl the most over. And I'm just going, I don't really have a reason. I think he's the best bowler at the moment.
They're not going to bowl Naseem that much because he's still a kid and stuff and he's still developing. Yeah. And Abbas will probably bowl maybe, a lot of overs, but his main job, I reckon, is in the team's going to be try to get them not to score runs, and then the other part of the attack, just attack the wickets. Yeah,
and Shaheen will be bowling with the new ball, so I think he will get a few wickets every innings early on. So I'm definitely backing.
I hope Pakistan catches the catches, man. I hope they don't drop any catches.
Yeah, fielding actually is a big thing.
No one's talked about it at all.
Anyway. Yeah, West they fielded all right, but once again, that's always an issue when, the Englands, the South Africas, the Australias play teams like West Indies, Pakistan. The fielding is usually a big issue for Pakistan and stuff, but hopefully they lift. Hopefully that elite coaching staff, mate, goes to work and they're switched on in the field.
They're getting paid a lot of money, so I'm hoping. I'm expecting results day one. It's not it's going to take us time. I want results day one. They've been there for a month. And that's the best preparation you can have if you've been there for a month and you get used to the conditions and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so top wicket taker, who are you backing in?
Yasir Shah.
All right, yeah, he'll probably bowl the most overs.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, and he's been traditionally in the UK, he's been really good at times. I know you're saying that in the past, I think last series he didn't play that well, but I'm thinking back to the 2016 series. Where he got an 8 for, I'm pretty sure.
He took 2 fifers, so although his average wasn't great, he actually took a lot of wickets. So, yeah, probably a fair shout. He always takes a lot because of his volume.
When he was in Australia, I was he might be good, but he was surprisingly. I'll say this for Yasir Shah, he did his homework in terms of getting wickets in Australia as well. He got Smith out really early on in the beginning, so I'm if he does his work, if he does his homework, and he does everything well, he might have a chance at performing a lot better than a lot of people are giving him.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for that section. Thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries.
Loved hearing your insights about your beloved Pakistan. And I'm sure I'll get you on at some point to maybe review the Test series or something.
Let's hope so. Let's get that done, mate.
Yeah, really looking forward to it though. Think it's going to be a more competitive series than the West Indies one. What about
the T20s afterwards?
Oh man, I don't give a shit about T20.
What are your thoughts on IPL over T20 World Cup? The conspiracy.
Oh, I get what you mean. It's being played in September, yeah, or whenever it's being played in the UAE. Yeah, it's a fair point, but I don't know. There's probably more money in it for
Yeah. No, but
paid.
I have some good news for you. You know PSL?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to host the 20 World Cup in the time at the PSL, when the PSL happens, and then the PSL, like, the PCB started having a go at the ICC. That's when we have our league. So I'm pretty sure for the next 3 years now, there's no international cricket that's going to be played from Feb till March when the PSL is playing. So I'm hoping Steve Smith and David Warner and all these guys get picked. There's no international cricket, and there's no like World Cup like games happening in that February March.
Yeah, probably just for some of them it might just be a bit of a issue with like safety, but
Oh come on, mate! I mean,
no, what like they've only allowed cricket to be played there internationally in the last like 12
I
months.
went to Pakistan. I went to Gaddafi Stadium to watch the game. Mate, I had a great time. Like, I didn't sit with the public and stuff, but like, I had a great time.
Exactly.
No, it's not that. Like, it's not that. That's not the reason.
But like I'm sure it'd be in the back of their minds, like the whole Sri Lanka thing. But
The whole Sri Lanka thing. Mate, Sri Lanka came back and played and beat us in the T20 somehow.
Anyway, so thanks for coming on, mate. Really looking forward to the Test series. Just quickly, who are the do you know who's the Pakistan commentators? Would it be Ramiz Raja or
I don't think Ramiz Raja is allowed to leave.
Imran Khan? No, not
Imran Khan. He has to fix the country, mate. I mean, he's got a lot.
Yeah,
more,
sorry,
he's got a lot more
Imran Khan.
he's got more important shit to do. I think Wazim Akram will probably do it. Sky.
Yeah, sorry, that's who I pictured.
I think it'll be Wazim Akram, Nasir Hussain, and like what's his name? What's that guy?
Yeah, obviously all the English blokes.
Yeah.
Bumbles.
They all love it when Pakistan come out. They've got an elite. Like, they've got the elite commentary panel.
I love Pakistan playing in England. There's something about it I really like. I love that series.
You know, it's like India and Australia.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's
like
a good matchup. Yeah, so thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Sorry
about my brother before.
No, that's good entertainment. Good entertainment. See you, Mus.
See you, mate. Yeah.
Welcome to part 3 of the On the Ball podcast.
Exactly.
I'm your
Well
guest.
said, mate. Keep going.
That is not happening.
We're joined. Yeah, I'm using that. So stiff, mate. We're joined again by Pilch. We're here to talk about the England-Ireland one-day series. Quick three match series. Only goes for a week. First one is Thursday night, and then it finishes, I think, on Tuesday. So it's just a bit of bang action. And this is also the commencement of the, I don't know if you've heard about this, but the one-day Super League. It is a test championship, the kind of thing, pretty much the exact same thing. I can't lie, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know it's being used as a qualification tool for the 2023 World Cup. Each team gets 4 one-day series, 4 away series, 4 home one-day series, 4 away one-day series. And so, yeah, very similar to the Test Championship, and it all kind of adds up just to give ODI series a bit more meaning until the World Cup. So that'll be interesting. A new rule they're bringing in. Now every ball is going to be checked by the TV umpire for no ball. On the ground umpires don't have to look at it. So that's something that's going to be changed, and it's going to be. I don't know if they're using it in all games of cricket or just this Super League, but that's something that's definitely happening in the England-Ireland series. Now, in terms of our teams, we've both picked a team. Well, Ireland, but I think both teams only have a squad of 14, so it's not really picking a team, is it? It's just eliminating a few blokes from selection. It's a tough one with the old England squad. Do you think they're still going to be dominant even though they are missing their test players?
Yeah, well, I was going to make a joke before about should be a tightly contested series, but I can't really see Ireland winning a game here. Yeah. Even though the England squad's a bit depleted, but they still have a fair few of their stars, so they should roll through the Irish side, do nasty things.
Yeah, I think the England lineup's too deep for Ireland to maybe sneak away with a win by like skittling them like they did in that Test match first innings last year. But yeah, I can't really see England not winning all three. Maybe a couple of them fairly convincingly as well. So we'll start with the England side, and then we'll move into the Ireland team. So as I just said before, it is a 14-man squad, I think. I'm not sure if that's the exact number. I've picked a squad that I think they'll pick, and I've picked a squad that I think they should pick. So opening up, who have you got?
No-brainer, Roy and Bairstow. Probably
Yeah,
the
100%.
most exciting opening pair in world cricket at the moment. In the one-day international format, they come out firing, and yeah, they're just absolute beasts of the sport.
It has to be said, Phil Salt scored 100 not out in the practice game, but he's not even in the squad. So it kind of just shows how deep this England one-day whole system is, really. I think they've probably got 30 or 40 players who would be good enough to play one-day international cricket. So yeah, no-brainer there. Bairstow with the gloves? Question mark? Yeah, I agree. There's one other player in this squad who can keep, but he's missed out narrowly for me. So yeah, Roy and Bairstow. Number 3, it's normally Joe Root, but I've gone James Vince. I don't think they will tinker too much with the order. I think they will just try and find straight swaps for the guys who are missing in that Test team. So yeah, I've gone Vincey in at number 3 just to do the Joe Root role. I think he scored 70 not out or something, or maybe out in that final practice match the other day against Ireland. So yeah, there's not really many options to bat in the top order, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, I've got him at number 3. What about you?
Yep, James Vince for me as well. He'll definitely get the gig there.
Also known as Tim Schmeichek in some circles. Good to see no one understands what I'm talking about except for you. But no, there's a tennis player who looks like him called Tim Schmeichek. And then number 4, obviously it's Owen Morgan, skipper of the team. I have to say, though, I'm not saying he's going to be dropped or anything, but statistically, he's actually not even been in that good of form. I know he often has to play a bit of a selfless innings like Joss Butler does in the Test team, but he hasn't scored a 50 in 8 innings, and his last 50 was against Afghanistan. So, does it count? I don't know. So I think he's someone who will be really looking at this series a chance to try and score some runs. Not saying his position's in threat, obviously, he's the World Cup winning captain, but I think he does need to start justifying that position he holds in the team at number 4 and is captain with a few good innings, which he is obviously capable of against his old team, Ireland. You've got Owen at 4.
I actually don't. I've got
Spice.
I've got him at
Have
5.
you moved him down?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
right.
Joe Denley at 4 for me. I noticed he was in the squad, so I think we'll definitely pick him.
Yeah, I've got him at 5. Joe Denley.
Oh yeah,
he played in that South African series at number 5, albeit it's probably fair enough for him to bat above Morgan because he does seem more suited to the top order. But he actually did quite a good job in South Africa, 250s, I think. I think he scored an 80 and a 60. Coming in at 5, so I think he'll be picked despite not having played any of the practice games because he was in the Test bubble.
Yep.
But now he's down in Southampton, so I think he'll play. I'm not 100% sure though. And then number 6, who are you rolling with?
My new man, who
TB12.
I love, T. Banton.
Yeah, I've got Tommy Benn in at 6 as well. As I was just saying, I've pretty much looked at the core of that South African series, and I've just, checked that they're in good form. But yeah, Benton was in at 6 in that South African series. I think he batted a bit higher in some of the practice games. I know he opened 1, and I think he batted in 4 and 1. But back down to 6 for the big fella, I think, in this one. I do have written down here. His position is kind of not guaranteed. If he's someone who, if he misses out in the first 2 games, could be just like rotated or dropped. And the guy who would probably come in for him would be like a Sam Billings. So he's probably one who needs some runs to consolidate his spot in the side, especially given the fact that in that South African series and this series, Stokes hasn't been playing. Well, in the last one day of that South African series anyway, and Stokes would probably, well, he's not batting at 6, but could be Ben could have to come out for him. Then number 7, who are you rolling with?
Moeen Ali.
Yeah,
I noticed he
I
was
think.
the vice captain
Oh yeah,
of the squad, but I'd pick him anyway. I mean, he's obviously his test batting isn't great, but he in the domestic 2020 and one day comps, he opens for his county and makes tons. So he's still a beast with the bat, and obviously a good bowler in one days.
yeah. I can't lie. He is a very good batsman, but he's not in the best of form. Similar to Morgan, he's struggled a bit with it, but obviously he's coming in so low. His average is often affected by him just having to swing the bat. I do think they'll pick him at 7. I'd personally pick Liam Dawson, especially, Southampton didn't really turn that much in the first test, but I'd personally go with Liam Dawson, but I do think they'll pick Moeen Ali. Very, very close though between them for that, kind of batting, bowling, that spinning all-rounder option in at number 7. But yeah, I definitely see why Moeen Ali would get picked. But I think Liam Dawson will be there or thereabouts, especially down the road in terms of that position.
Yeah,
and could be another one.
I think he took 4 or 5 in the practice match.
He did. Yeah, I think Mo took 3 for in Moeen, that is, in the first practice game, and then he took none in the second, and he actually sat out that England Lions game against Ireland, which was interesting. And Dawson did play, but I'm sure that's not really anything to look too far into. Then moving into number 8, I've actually got someone who was a bit of a surprise addition to the squad. I've got David Willey in. I just think not much logic really to it. The pace bowlers are Willie, Curran, Mahmood, and Reece Topley. And I've gone with David Willey in both my predicted team and my statistically selected side. So what about you?
He is in my team, but I would bat Tom Curran above.
Yeah,
Willey.
I've got Tom Curran at 9. So yeah, same.
Yeah.
And then have you got Rash Adil? Dill Pickle?
I do.
Adil at number 10?
Yeah,
Or number 11?
I was tossing up, and I don't want Mahmood and Topley and Willie all in that side. So I'd definitely pick another spinner, whether it be Dawson or Rashid.
Spinners. Yeah, I like 2 spinners personally. I don't know where you stand on this, but I think nowadays ODIs has kind of turned into. I think the World Cup winning side, I think in the final, England only played 1 spinner, but I definitely prefer a one-day team with 2 spinners personally. Do you agree with that one? Or
yeah, I think, and especially for England, over the last year or two, we've been at our best when we've played Moeen and Rashid most of the time. Although they're probably getting past their peaks now, they're not as good as they used to be. But I'd still play both.
Yeah, that's also one of the big pros that Ali has is that Dawson, I'm 99% sure, is a leg spinner.
I actually can't confirm that. Yeah,
I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure in the PSL I remember him bowling leg spin, but I'm not 100% sure.
And Moeen and Rashid are the boys.
Come on. But no, I guess it's a factor. It's why Mitchell Marsh always gets picked. And then number 11, I reckon they'll pick Saqib Mahmood, but I want them to pick Reece Topley. Topley is a left armer like Willie, so it's pretty rare to see 2 left armers and only 1 right arm pace bowler, but I'd rather than pick Topley. I think in the games he's played, he's looked pretty good. But yeah, I think they'll go Mahmood, who's only played 1 match actually, but he was in that last team in South Africa. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I've written down Reece Topley, but there's a good chance they do play Mahmood. Although I don't know, there's not really much reason to rate Mahmood.
Yeah,
but
exactly. It's pretty similar.
But yeah, I've gone Topley personally.
Yeah, I can't lie. Not many of the pace bowlers took poles in the practice games, so there wasn't really much to go off, to be honest. And so, Mahmood and Topley haven't played much, and Willie hasn't played for a year, so it was kind of weird.
I was surprised
choose the pace bowling attack, but
is Chris Jordan injured?
Yeah, I don't know.
He wasn't
in there.
He must be.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Now that's it for the England side. in terms of that England team, who are you looking as like the danger men? Obviously, as you were mentioning, it's probably the opening pair, isn't it? With Butler out, Stokes out, it probably puts more focus on that opening pair, Roy and Bairstow.
Yeah.
If Ireland want any chance of winning any game, they've pretty much got to get a wicket in the first 5 overs. Otherwise, they're going to be staring down the barrel of like none for 80 after 10 overs and going to be on the back foot very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely Roy and Bairstow are the two danger men. Roy tends to be inconsistent at times. Like he'll either get out in the first over or make 100 off 60. But if he gets going, there's no stopping him.
Yeah, Bairstow made 130 not out, I think, in one of the practice games off like 85 rocks.
That's torture.
I think he took Mahmood to town. He went for like 9 and over or something.
Yeah, Johnny's
something silly like that.
If I was to pick like a top run scorer, I'd probably go Johnny just because Roy can get out for not many. So that's the safer pick.
Yeah, we'll make that pick now. I'll go Johnny as well. 100% agree. I think he's more consistent.
I'd like to see it be someone like Morgan though, but I can't really. I don't think he will.
Yeah, just because the nature of one-day cricket, like the opener has more chance to go big.
Yeah,
and in a 3-test series, if you're scoring 100, you've pretty much locked in top scorer. So now moving into the Ireland team, once again, they've got 14 players in the squad, so not too much to whittle down to. Obviously, I can't lie, I don't know too much about these players, but in terms of the opening batsman, I think it's going to be Paul Sterling and I think it's Gareth Delaney. Not 100% sure if that's his first name. Paul Sterling's the vice captain of the team. He's kind of been ever present in that opening batting partnership. He's one of their better batsmen as well. Averages 43 in the last 2 years, including 100. So he's pretty handy with the shtick. Delaney, what's he looking at? He's only played 2 matches in the last 2 years. Hasn't looked great, but there's not really any other options, if I'm honest. Then at number 3 is the skipper, Andrew Balbirnie. He's actually not bad either. I think he averages 45 in the last 2 years. So, albeit these stats, they're probably playing a lot of games against your Afghanistan's, I don't know who else, but your teams that aren't really the top tier, but still pretty impressive. So, yeah, I've got Balbirnie at number 3. Number 4 is where I differ from what I think they'll pick to what I think they should pick. I think they'll pick William Porterfield, but I want them to pick Harry Tector, just for no reason. William Porterfield, he's kind of one of those Joe Denley merchants who loves a good 30. And he's like 34 or something, where Harry Tector, I think, is like 21 or something. And he scored a 60 in one of the practice matches. So I'd like to see him given a crack over Porterfield, but I think the former captain will stay in that number 4 slot. By the way, do you have the same top 4 as what I've said?
Yeah, I think Porterfield's been a stalwart of their team for so long, so they'll probably pick him. And definitely Sterling, Balbirnie, and then Delaney. Don't know much about him, but not sure if there's, as you said, another opener.
Yeah. I know. I don't know his first name. There's a guy with the last name McCullum. He opens the batting sometimes, but he's not in the squad. So I think Delaney it has to be. Then number 5 is probably the most dangerous player in the team, in my opinion. Big Kevin O'Brien, Big KJ. He scored 100 in one of the warm-up games. He is pretty much a certainty at number 5. He's only averaged 24 in the last 2 years, but he likes to bat fast, so I'm sure he goes out early a lot. And batting down at number 5, you can often, as I was saying with, who was I saying that with? Moeen Ali. You can often be in a situation where you have to just tee off.
Yeah.
Number 6, I've gone with the keeper, Tucker. Let's have a look at his first name, Lorcan Tucker. Pretty good Irish name, that. Actually, it's not even. The first name's Irish, but the last name's probably more English. But yeah, Tucker, the keeper. I don't know if there's another keeper in the squad, if I'm honest. I think Gary Wilson has kept but he is not in the squad. And Niall O'Brien used to be the keeper, and he's not in the squad either. So I think that's who it has to be. Just shout out if you disagree with me, mate.
Yeah, I noticed in the last practice game they'd pushed O'Brien and Tucker down one spot to fit in Tector and Porterfield. Yeah, so
yeah,
whether or not they do that.
I originally had that, but I don't know who the fifth bowler is. I'm pretty sure in that match they only bowled 4 people. So I originally had that, and then I was like, wait, what? Because I don't actually know if any of the top 6 bowls. But yeah, I'll do some research while we talk about the bowlers. So
Did
then
Kevin O'Brien bowl?
Let me know. Paul Sterling bowls, but he's taken 3 wickets in 20 matches, so I assume that's not too much of a bowling gig for him.
I think O'Brien can bowl.
Kevin O'Brien has taken 2 wickets in 20 matches, so maybe they combine for 10 overs, but yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe they want some batting against this impressive England side, but yeah, it's a bit strange. It's a bit of a strange setup. And then the bowlers. So I've gone with that top 6, but as you said, they could definitely pick Porterfield and Tector at 4 and 5. Yeah. So the bowlers are, once again, similar to England. There's just not really many options. I think Singh and McBride are the 2 spinners.
Yep.
So they've played most games in the last 2 years. So I think they'll be picked at 7 and 8. And then the pace bowling attack, you've got 4 options, but I'm going with McCarthy, Rankin, and then Chase Young at the bottom. Craig Young, sorry, not Chase Young. And then Josh Little misses out. So that's who I've gone with. As I was saying before, I'm not claiming to be some Irish cricket expert. I don't know too much about them. Looking at the statistics, their best bowlers seem to be Boyd Rankin. Geez, this is slim pickings here, boys. Andy McBride and Simi Singh seem to be okay, but yeah, it doesn't look to be anything special. Boyd Rankin's the only guy in the team rolling with more than a wicket per match in the last 2 years, so that's a bit of a worry for them. In terms of the shtick, we kind of talked about it. Balbirnie and Sterling are probably the most consistent, but I think Kevin O'Brien has the most ability to take a game away from this impressive England team. In terms of predictions, big fella, we touched on England's batting. We think Bairstow will be the top run scorer. Who are you backing in for the wickets for the English side? I can't lie, this is absolute guessing game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tom Curran first.
Yeah, I'll back in Tom Curran for some junk time, last 10 over poles.
Yeah.
It'll get him over the line for me. And then the Ireland team, geez, this is random, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to steer clear of Paul Sterling just because I think the opening batting gig can be quite hit and miss. And in a 3-game series against England, it'll be impressive if he can hit once. So I'm going to go O'Brien just because he's kind of protected down in that number 5 position. Might be a few times where there's a collapse and he can kind of come in with some time.
Yep.
But Balbirnie would also be a good candidate. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Big Balbirnie.
Big Balbirnie.
He looks like a bit of a lad, and he actually looked pretty decent in that standalone Test match last year.
He's got good stats in all forms.
Yeah, so I'll back him in. Can't say I'm basing that off much though, but I'll back him.
Yeah,
I'll back him in.
And then the bowling. This is serious guesswork, boys. I'm just gonna go Boyd Rankin, but like as we did with the West Indies, that's the most simple option because everyone knows who Boyd Rankin is. I'm gonna go Boyd Rankin, just based off those wicket stats that I read out before. However, in saying that, I think he will have an economy rate of 14.2. I think Roy and Bairstow might do some dirty things to him. But no, maybe he's really tall, so maybe his bounce will, sort them out. But yeah, I'll go Big Boydo. What about you?
Yeah, I think they'll all get absolutely torn apart. But
yeah, I think they'll be lucky. How many wickets are we predicting for the Ireland team in 3 matches? I reckon
5.
they'll be lucky to get double figures.
Yeah, I'm going 5.
Yeah,
like one for 400, 1 for 432, and
It has to be said though, it is their first official games back from lockdown, so the English blokes might be a bit rusty.
I'm gonna go a pod for my Irish wicket taker and go Simi Singh.
Simi
Simi
Singh.
Singh, one of the
I think,
spinners.
yeah, maybe if it was at a different ground, I'd consider a spinner. But I guess spinners are always dangerous in one days, aren't they? Because everyone's trying to smack them for six picks.
But the thing is, they
So
will.
yeah,
It won't be an attempt. It'll just be going into Rose.
mate, I can't lie. This arrogance is making me hope Ireland sneak one in here. But yeah, so that's it for this podcast. It's been quite long. I think we could be looking in an hour and 15 once we add all three parts of it together. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to both series, actually. Probably more the test series. I can't lie. I'm not that fussed about this one-day series. But I know you are, although you won't admit it, you're a bigger one-day fan than you are a test fan. But you're too proud and traditional to admit that that's the case. But that's all right. That's all right, mate.
I will say the fact that England at the moment, their one-day team, is easily the best team and most entertaining team. I do love watching them in one days, but I'm still a test match man, even though you like to disagree with that.
And I don't know. I think the proof's in the pudding, and I think you do get around the one days just a little bit more, but that's okay. That's okay, mate. We live and we learn.
Nothing wrong.
There's nothing to be ashamed
Nothing wrong
about
with
it.
a bit of one-day cricket, mate.
There's nothing to be ashamed about it. You don't have to try and be this like superior cricket traditionalist. But
what like you're currently trying to be.
no, mate, no. I follow some seriously bad sports, mate. I can't talk shit. Anyway, so that's it for this potty. Been a lot of predictions, so I'm sure we'll get absolutely none of them correct as always. But really enjoyed that West Indies series. Really looking forward to the Pakistan series. Looking forward to the Ireland series. And yeah, thanks for joining me, Pilch. Big thanks, even though he's not on anymore, but big thanks to Mustafa for joining me. Thanks for his little brother for making a cameo in the background of his video and getting fended in the face. And yeah, just tune in for the next few episodes. Plenty of content coming out. So cheers, Pilch. Pilch and Coca cutting shapes. Pilch and Coca.